Imagine a world where the fifth largest city in the state of California has 0 female firefighters in 5 to 7 years.
I love my job, and I would love to see other females have the same experience that I have had.
I became a firefighter to be the best firefighter. I didn't become a firefighter to be the best female firefighter.
Hi, I'm Adrienne Blankenship, captain with Fresno City Fire, and I've been with Fresno Fire for 25 years.
Hi, I'm 46.
Adrienne Blankenship, captain, 25 years.
Carrie Wiedemeyer, fire captain, 22 years.
Joella Garcia, captain, 24 years.
Christine Wilson, engineer, fire investigator, 17 years.
I didn't choose. I think I fell into it. I was talking about this today. There was a woman that I worked with at a pub, actually, and we would go backpacking together, and she worked for the Forest Service, and she's like, Carrie, we backpack for fun, you should do this with me. And I had no idea what she was talking about, but I thought, I really liked her, and she was really cool, and it was fun to backpack, so I did the Forest Service, and I loved it. It was awesome. Mm-hmm. So that's how I kind of trickled into it.
So we're lucky you got here because a lot of women stay in Forest Service or Cal Fire. So I mean,
Yeah.
I think that's where we lose a lot of females. I'm not sure.
You're right.
Yeah.
I hated it personally. I hated the whole Cal Fire
Wildland or-
side.
The wildland portion?
Yeah.
You started Cal Fire too?
No, I didn't, but the little section in Firefighter 1, I hated it.
Where did you start?
I started Cal Fire, brief, and then I went on to City of Sanger, and then of course to Fresno. But much like Carrie, I kind of fell into it. I had a relative talking about he was a firefighter down in LA, and I was really curious about what he was doing, and it seemed really challenging. And at the time, I was I was an athlete, so the physical aspect of it was appealing to me. So I got into it just for that, and it just evolved into a career that has been great.
I fell into it too. I mean, I was majoring in dance in college.
You went from dance to
that
becoming a
explains
firefighter?
Yeah,
I love it.
I did.
What was the pivot?
The fire science class was right next door to my interior design class that I hated.
And she saw the guys in
She
there.
liked the other.
Actually, I saw this chick in there. She was huge. Adrienne, she was like as tall as you, but taller. And she had this real big personality. Like I would see her walk out of the classroom and be like, well, there's no way. But we actually ended up becoming really good friends. But no, my cousin's actually the one that was like, hey, Joella, you should go be a firefighter. You should do this. I'm like, you don't go to school to be a firefighter? He's like, no, really, it's right next door to your class. And then watching the guys and gals go in and outside of the class, I was like, okay, I'll double my toe, because I'm really not that good of a dancer. I knew I wasn't,
Oh, you're good.
so, oh no, trust me, I
Maybe not like, pro.
not professional. No. So I just took the first class, and then it was just, I 100% went in.
You did.
I
You
did.
were 100%er.
Did you
Yeah.
fall into it too, or did you know that's what you wanted to be?
Well, I was doing backcountry trails, building trails and living out in the woods. So that led me to the Hot Shots at Vanderburg. My dad was stationed there and he just told me about the opening. So I went, applied, got on. And so it was similar. It was very similar. So the guys I was with are what inspired me to take EMT. They were all signing up for the fire academy. So I'm like, oh, I get that there's a whole nother life, a whole nother career besides Hot Shots. Like Hot Shots is the beginning. And so that's kind of what inspired me. And then of course, when you're at the fire academy and EMT schools, those people want to become city or structure firefighters. So I think it's who you're around. And then you start testing. But I did try Cal Fire, didn't care for it. It was more individual. So I went back to the Hot Shots because I like the more team aspect. So then coming on structural firefighting, like with the city, especially Fresno, I just felt like there was.
Well, explain the difference between Hot Shots and Cal Fire.
Well, so Hot Shots, I worked at Vanderburg. It's like the Fed Hot Shots or Forest Service, but it was for Vanderburg, so civilians working for Vanderburg Air Force Base to protect the land around where the missiles were going off. And they had vast wildland areas, so our job to protect basically the base, but then we could go as far as Yosemite and then as far down as, say, LA. So we covered a huge southern
You work on
California.
an engine company?
No, so we
That-
were,
that's a little
okay,
bit-
so a hot shots is a hand crew. It could be anywhere from like say 16 to 24 people. You all have different jobs, saws, pulling a sawyer, which is pulling brush out of the way for the saw, pike axe, McLeod, you know, so everybody's got different roles, but basically you work as a team to construct fire line. So it's just another aspect of, and you know, it was cool. We did the reading last week and they had a book, The Hot Shots. So it was so cute. I was able to show the kids and talk about it, you know, firsthand kind of thing. So, and what's funny is it's 30 years ago I started on Hot Shots and then I have the Hot Shot book. So I thought that was kind of cool. So, yeah. So it's hard to believe it's been that long because I don't feel that old. But it's been 30 years, you know, 25 here.
You don't look that old yet.
Good.
I actually remember Adrian when I was with CAL FIRE, going through the fire academy, and you know, my goal was to work for the city of Fresno. After I saw Adrian on the back of truck 3, and it was an open cab at the time, so you rode outside, and she was in her uniform, and you guys were going to the grocery store, and she was just like, and I was like, I want to be just like her. Yeah. I'm still working on it.
Well, I don't know if you guys remember in the beginning, you pinch yourself. Like I was on engine 9, and we're going over the hump at Clinton. The sun's coming up, and I'm at the end of my shift. It's when we worked 1 on, 2 off. But I'm just like, this is like the best job in the world. Like,
I think we all had one of those. My moment was on engine 3 in a back. Oni Durney was my captain. It was downpouring. I think we're going off tangent, but it was downpouring rain, and we were on our way to a fire. It was on our way or on our way back, and I remember sticking my head out the window and just getting annihilated by what I thought was rain, but it was really the debris coming up from the tire. I didn't know it at the time. And I'm just like, oh my God, I can't believe this is amazing. You know, just like, oh, you know, like doing that whole thing. Well, we get on scene, and I am covered in mud and road debris, and I'm like, what the hell? Oni's like, kid, what'd you get yourself into? I'm like, I don't know, but it was just,
I'm just so excited to
I was
hear.
so excited.
you're like one of those
Little puppy.
rookies that gets yourself dirty.
Yeah.
God, I don't think there's any one moment. I think for me, even today, when I am called or I have to go drive an engine, even with investigative work, every day I just love the job that I do. I mean, I think every day I feel grateful and blessed that I have the career that I have, and it's been amazing.
I would say the same.
Yeah.
No.
I don't think my family really understood it. Like my dad still doesn't really understand it, and he's very old fashioned, and I think he still feels like I'm a secretary. But
Like
nobody
you worked
was
at headquarters.
Yeah, nobody was scared, or nobody gave me. I'm surprised with your mom that she wasn't like, no, my daughter is not going to do this.
No, my mom was very hardcore behind the scenes. She was very, our family, the women in our family are very, there's a female judge, there's one of the first, what do you call those? They're on roller skates and they go around in
Roller
circles.
derby?
She's one of
Oh,
the
that's
first
cool.
roller derbiers way, way, way back. My mom was very, you know, she's very hard-headed, very independent, very driven woman. So the women in my family were very strong, very strong. So this was nothing out of the ordinary for, like, oh, okay. I don't know.
I just think I learned that from my mom was like that. My parents never told me I couldn't do something, so I just never knew that. I just would go and just try things. I lost my train of thought.
Were your parents okay with your
I have
just,
a mix
you know.
of like all these families where I'm strong. When I want to do something, I'll do anything I can to go ahead and do it. I had my brothers were overachievers. One's an attorney, one was soon to be becoming a doctor, and then I was going into firefighting. So my parents never took it seriously. Like, okay, you're going over there to do your thing, and even to this day, I don't think they know what I do. It just hasn't really registered. So, yeah.
That's where we were going with that, Adrian.
I know, but there was something I was gonna say. and I
You were
just
talking
can't
about
think.
your mom
I know.
and your parents.
Yeah, just that they were just always supportive, which I think just helped me. I never thought I couldn't do something.
Yeah.
You know, you always get nervous about trying something new, but I knew just try it.
Just
if
do
you don't
it.
like it, you don't like it, but don't be afraid to try something, so,
Yeah.
yeah.
Sure, I think that's for anything. I mean, if you don't see something in a regular, day-to-day thing, it doesn't quite seem possible or it seems out of the ordinary. And I think that's why maybe we seem different because I'll tell you one experience when that calendar thing came up that I did. The majority of the women were from Florida. And when we were out there, they have so many women in their department. I mean, like huge. The stories that we would share back and forth were quite different. Mine was more on I was always going, huh? What? Really? No. Because on their side, there were so many more of them. It was so much more of a commonality that it wasn't, they're not still going through some of the struggles that we may be going through here. It was just a very weird phenomenon to see that many women and that many women getting along really well, and they were all gorgeous too, which is really amazing to me. Maybe it's the sunshine, I don't know. But I mean, to kind of answer your question, there's so many back on that side of the coast. Where here, there's some of us, not particularly on this department, but yeah, I think it makes a huge difference. If you see more of something, it seems more common.
And I think it could be just a regional thing. I went down to San Diego a year and a half ago for the Girls Empowerment Camp to help out with theirs. And San Diego Fire and all the surrounding agencies, there was a large amount of women that were participating, and it was normal, it was common. So I think if the city of Fresno is able to, have more women become a part of the department that the community will see, it will entice more women, just as you saw the women in the fire class. And you were introduced to it, you kind of fell into it, so by being exposed to it. So the more exposure that the women in the community can have about what we do, that would be the goal for it to grow.
Well, have you noticed, like, all the TV shows, there's more women in roles like this, military, fire,
Football.
Police.
God, I'm so excited about a football thing. I'm so sorry.
Football and like, what
So
about
is-
all the major roles in, like, Captain Marvel, Wonder Woman? I mean, it's like, I think girls are being inspired to be huge. We didn't have that growing up. I mean, we had Wonder Woman on TV, but it wasn't quite the same. And we definitely didn't see women in any kind of role. I mean, I didn't have a lot of exposure with firefighters. But yeah, it would have inspired me if I would have seen like something like this, that, hey, there is women doing this job and they love it. And maybe I could do it. That would have been awesome. But
I always ask people, why do you think we need to advertise for women, or why do you need to do that? And I said, it's about planting a seed. So have you ever gone to a little girl's birthday party that was firefighter themed? You don't. And I asked the guys, have you ever given your daughter a birthday party that was firefighter themed? They really think about it. I mean, they're not doing it intentionally. That's not going to be on the aisle when you go down girls' birthday parties. So if we're planting a seed for a little girl, then that's what we're doing.
well, the Girls Empowerment Camps, I think,
That
is
is
huge for
Yeah.
a lot of
Yeah.
young girls.
Just gives the young girls exposure to
like touching the
career.
tools, touching the
Exactly.
yeah. I wish I would have had that.
Me too.
Well, even men too, or even little boys come into the camp. I mean, we're in a generation right now where like nobody seems to know how to do anything with their hands anymore. I mean, not nobody,
Trade,
but
like having
I mean, it's
trades.
becoming more and more common that we don't have shop, we don't have home ec, we don't have, all these little things where we're actually having to put ourselves in a position of doing something. So having a camp like that, I think being open to everybody,
And now
is key.
And like you said, it's generational. Kids are doing things differently now. So now we're fighting the tech age to actually get the kids out and to want to do hands-on stuff. And firefighting is hard work.
That's what I remembered. I was going to say, well, my mom, she knew how to do everything. Like, there was nothing she would not fix. And so I've always had that feeling I can do anything, I think, because of that. But that's what I remembered. Sorry.
She's a good example.
think kids love firefighters, so
Yeah.
I think they do. I think they do. And then they're always surprised to see it's a female. And like one time I went to a reading, kids reading at school, and they had a book about a female firefighter. So it was cool that I showed up and I could read this book to them. So anyway, that was one. Sorry,
Definitely, yeah.
that was one that was really cool. It kind of was meant to be.
I think it's generational. Like the little kids, it doesn't matter if you're a boy, a girl, male, female.
Yeah.
They're, oh, you're a firefighter. And then when you get to the middle school age, it's like, oh, that's really cool. You're a female and you're a firefighter. And then you get to the 20s and the 30s and we're badass. And then you get to the older adults and they're like, oh, you're a firefighter? You know, the older adults are like, oh, you work with the men? You know, so it's all, I think every level has its aspect of how they perceive women in the fire service.
That's so true.
I like it when they do the whole.
Yeah. What do you do? What do you do? I just
But I
cover.
mean, are you a secretary?
Yeah,
or are you,
I clean.
And you get the constant like.
Yeah.
Maybe not with Adrian because she's got the size behind her, but it's the whole.
Do you actually on the
It's the
engine?
female
You go to the
thing.
fire?
But you go in
Yeah.
the fires. Yeah, it's like
Yeah. I actually had this little girl. I was working on this engine here, and she went by Station 6 with her parents. She was 6, and they had a doll. It was just didn't have anything on it, and they had to design it like what they wanted to do when they grow up. And she, on her own, did a firefighter, and she put hair on it, so it was a girl firefighter. And so they had to tell a story about why they put this doll. And she said, well, I don't know a firefighter, but I want to be a firefighter. So her parents went by Station 6 and said, our daughter is just really, we don't know where this is coming from, so it'd be really neat for her to meet a firefighter. And so Engine 6 called and said, can they come by? So they drove up here. They didn't warn me that she had severe scoliosis and was handicapped. And I think they could have just emotionally prepared me for it. And this little girl came in and she saw me and just ran up to me and hugged me. And we ended up getting our pictures taken together with her little doll, you know. That was bigger to me than anything, that she was just so inspired by it. And this little girl will never be a firefighter. She's probably won't be walking soon, so it was kind of cool.
And I think
it's hard for all of us to like admit it, but just
I mean, just role models and telling young women or anybody that, you know, you can do whatever you set your mind to, regardless of your size, regardless, you know, you have, everybody's unique in their own and they have their own abilities. And if you set your mind to it, as we did, we were able to pursue a dream that we had.
And you've mentioned it a lot too, and I think that's what it really comes down to. More than women, more than men, just in general. We've really got to learn that people are going to be successful in life when they learn how to set their limits a little bit higher. If somebody wants to do something, they're going to do it. If they have a little bit of guidance to go in one direction or another, they're going to be willing to take it, and they're going to go with it, and they're going to succeed. And I think that's one of the seeds that all of us have, is we have this natural drive. I honestly think all 4 of us just have a natural drive to want to do well. And I don't think, I think a question was, I think maybe you asked earlier, like, have you ever felt different, or like, have you ever, I can't even remember what the question was, but it had something to do with being a female in it. It's like, no, it never had to do with, like, the obstacles that I ran into I never felt like it was because I was female. They were just obstacles that you had to overcome.
As a human being
As
or
a human.
individual.
Just, yeah. So that's one step I think that we really need to take in the future, is like, we need to take responsibility for whatever is brought to us and succeed with it, and not use whatever we are or we aren't
excuses.
as an excuse or as a redirect for why we're not successful, whether it be black, white, Chinese, gay, lesbian, all those other letters, female, you know, I don't mean to offend anybody, but it's just one of those things, like, we have to be our own advocates to be successful in life. So.
Yeah, I mean, coming on, you are my role models, and right now, like, I'm so, like, super proud. I'm gonna cry. I'm super proud to be here. I'm not gonna cry, but because yes, people do look up to us, so I feel we have an obligation to use our platform to inspire young adults and inspire people who just to pursue, to continue to pursue what they want to pursue. And I think we have the obligation to use this as a platform.
I so agree with that.
Well said.
I feel like this job has given me so much that I owe that back to individuals to get that for themselves.
Well, I think I've got 8 years left. You've got 5. You've got.
I've got maybe 5.
About 5, I hope. I know, you're gonna be the baby.
Well,
Yeah.
I think it's
Wait a
no
second,
fault
why
of like Fresno Fire why we don't have women. We've had other women, they've left for different reasons. They've either left for other jobs, they've left for family, they've left for illnesses. And unfortunately, we had one that passed away from an illness. So we have had, I would say, quite a few women on the job at different times, but for whatever reason, we're not hiring as many, I'd say the last 10 years or 8 years, I would say.
Well,
Don't you think?
who was the last
Well,
one?
I think there's a lot more to it in regards to, one, because of the recession, we have had a hiring freeze, so we really haven't had the opportunities to hire. And then when the applicants come in, yeah, we do have women coming in, but they are up against, again, their background, and for one reason or another, a select few is selected. I mean, I don't think our department or any other department would pick up somebody just because they were female or just because they were black, just because they were Hispanic. I mean, there's still qualifications that they have to hit. And then it comes down to the community in regards to these women applying, and that just comes down to education opportunity.
Yeah, I would agree.
Yeah, the department has a recruitment committee that goes out on weekly, if not every 2 weeks, to hit the different community events, high schools. So we do have a recruitment team that goes out to educate the public. We have now, this is our second annual Girls Empowerment Camp that we're going to be implementing within the city. Again, giving youth the ages of 14 to 18, focusing on women or girls, the opportunity to educate them on what we do as a career. So when they go out and going through their school years, now they know that this is an option for them. So they have that opportunity and they can make that informed choice. This is a career that they want.
And then we have the Explorers, 14 to 21? So from 14 to 21 Explorers. And so that helps kids see if this is a profession that they want to do.
And we do have some females enrolled in our Explorer Academy. We transition it where we go right from the Girls Empowerment Camp and enrolling those girls that participate into the Explorer program. Again, trying to retain females within the department.
Yeah.
Yes,
Yes, we need more women.
yes.
Do you think we need more women?
Hell yes.
Somebody asked me, why are you doing this? Why not, recruit everybody? And, bottom line is, of course, we're recruiting for the best possible candidate to be in this job. We all live with them 48 hours a week, it's important to me that this department is a strong professional department. So of course, I'm advocating for all people. But as far as women goes, why are you out there recruiting women? I think women do bring to a crew, to
A sense of balance.
a sense of balance. That's a really good one. When you have a crew, everybody brings something to that crew based on their culture, based on their upbringing, based on their life experience. Women have a different life experience than men. Women oftentimes have a different outlook than men, so they bring something to the table, just like another culture would. We also bring that to the table, and I think that we do bring a sense of balance.
Well, I think it shows men that women are strong, women are independent, women can do anything they set their minds to. So that's what I like showing people is a different perception sometimes of what they think women are capable of. I mean, it's limitless. I mean, we're seeing first astronauts, first fighter pilots. I mean, it's just awesome the level we're getting, and it's from us being here, but we want to mentor, we want the new women coming through to help them. Just like we help the new men that come on. We want to also help women.
And we do need to reflect our community. I mean, we can't be a significant part of the city and not have something representing what is out there. I mean, I would try to come up with a really good example of it, but I mean, it kind of doesn't make sense. And we do need to represent in some sort of
Well,
manner.
just like you look at American Ambulance, they're half men, half women. It's like, it would be awesome if this was almost half women. I can't even imagine.
Yeah, it would be. Yeah.
It would
I
be
think
awesome.
too, we talked about role models earlier, and I think you need to have men and women role models, and to not have women on the job, you are limiting the role models out there to these young women to probably not think about doing this as a career.
Like, what would it look like if the chief is gone and all of us are gone? Imagine our department right now.
I think that you wouldn't have a young girl looking at that engine crew and thinking, oh my gosh, maybe I can do that, you know?
I'll talk about Tammy.
I'll talk
I'll tell
about
my
it.
first experience with Tammy. I came in when it was in '95-ish. Came down to take my physical agility. And of course, you know, all we want to do is piss our pants because we're so gosh darn nervous. We just want to get this test over with. And this was back where they had the very hard agilities. They were no joke. Well, when I came in, I saw Tammy and Pat. They were both standing there, and they were ripped. I mean, I don't know if they really were or not, but in my eyes,
They were.
they looked like their muscles were like bounding out of their shirts. Their quads were like as big
Tammy
as
always
both of
had
mine
biceps.
put together, and they were on the hose dragon reset. And these two girls, they were laughing, they're getting along really well, and I'm just like, I come up, I'm like, I am not a very big person, and I'm like, holy, I better do well. This is my first experience with it, and they were so excited for me to go, and you know, so that was the first time that I met them. So it's important that we understand that they were the first two.
Yeah.
They established a setting or a footprint for the rest of us to follow. So
When they were part,
I worked
Tammy,
out a lot after that.
Tammy was a part of the first female crew we had at Station 8.
Oh, that's right.
Pat
that's
was the
right,
captain,
yeah.
Tammy was the
And Lisa.
engineer.
Lisa.
And Lisa Lewis was the firefighter. And I kind of was a little jealous because I wanted to be a part of that crew. I thought that was awesome.
Yeah, we have
I
had a lot
mean,
of women
Yeah,
There was a
11?
time where we
Yeah.
had
Was there 11
at one
altogether,
time,
right?
yeah.
at one time.
Beth
Yeah.
and Sandy and
Amy.
Amy.
Diane.
Diane, gosh.
So we've had a few. Trying to think another thing with Tammy. I know there's some out there, but yeah, Segovia. I think that's her.
Silguero.
Silguero, or when she got married. Oh, you were thinking of the other Segovia, I think. What's his name that left?
Roy.
Segovia, right?
Yeah.
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 I mean, there's lots of, gratifying stuff. Like, okay, I should have showed that video. Joella has always done, like at Christmas, finds a family.
Oh my gosh.
Here come the tears.
Yeah. So at Christmas, she'll go on a call and find a family doesn't have anything. And,
does it every
She
year,
rounds it
yeah.
up. She gets everyone to donate, whether it be money, food, and furniture. And so I remember, I was just looking at the video the other day, is us
In the
on
fire
the
truck.
old rig, and you're driving the fire truck, and I'm like, oh, I'll do the siren. So I'm like, woo. It's so funny. We got Santa stockings on. But anyway, so all these people are like showing
watching
up
us.
to surprise this family with all this stuff. And she's done that quite a few times, and it's like, so it's things like that when we do something extra special that we don't have to. It's not even part of our job. It's just because she wants to help somebody or give back. I mean, that's the kind of stuff that a lot of people do on this department that makes me feel good to be a part of the family and part of the group. And we all do stuff, whether, you know, we all have our things that we do. But anyway, that is one of like the best memories that I've had. And every time I hear about her doing it, I mean, it just makes me proud that she's on the fire department, so.
It's just the
And a giving person, and
They
just,
both
you
are
know.
gonna cry. I have one of
Yeah.
Christine, I'll tell. We had a fire. I was first in on it, and it went to court. And this man actually lit his house on fire, but he tried to frame somebody else. So the first time I worked with Christine as an investigator, she was an investigator. That was my first time testifying in court. It was a pretty big deal. But Christine, you were dialed. I went to court. I was a mess. I was like, oh my gosh, this is so intimidating. You were like something out of a movie, like Law and Order. Like just totally verbatim. Her report was amazing and just totally dialed. And I was like, that was really cool. That was Christine that it was. I was just really proud of you. It was more like that older sister that's like, that's my sister. And she just kicked ass on it. Yeah, it was good.
Let
You
me
did a
tell
great
you, I'll
job.
tell you too. Like I've been like, we're all so different. We're so different. It's like Adrienne has. So don't look at me. She has like the heart of a lion. You do. The lion is like your perfect last name at the time. She's like got the biggest gentle heart. But she's a freaking beast. And I have to share a story about you, but I'll get back to it. It's about the soccer story. And like any of these girls will give you your left kidney. Carrie has got this wit about her that has driven her through her career. Like, nobody will mess with her because she will bite you back and she'll tear your throat out. But again, she's got the biggest heart.
Oh, thanks, Joe. Thank you.
Now, if you're a suffering human and a suffering dog, she's gonna go for the dog.
Yes.
There's
I'll get back to you.
there's plenty of stories there that I eat plenty of crow because of this girl.
Yes.
And this woman here, she's so freaking smart. She's beautiful, she's smart, and she's driven. It's like everything she touches, it's like, right? Like
Yeah,
everything
it
she
is.
she's type A, but it's like,
It's amazing, yeah.
clean. When I know she's on duty, I'm relieved because it's one of those like, well, I think we'll all agree with this. Certain people are on duty and it's like you're relieved because they're gonna get there and they're not only gonna get there, but they're gonna handle it. And they don't mess around. It's like when things need to get taken care of, she's no joke. She walks up and you're like, what? She handles it. She gets it done. Mad respect for her. So I love them dearly.
What soccer thing
Okay,
is that?
so
Would she put
now
down?
mind you,
Is this when I was playing co-ed soccer? What?
okay, so mind you, not until this year have I really realized how small I am. I've always thought I've been really big, and I think that's how I've been so, like, in my head
little dog that
successful,
thinks that-
right? I'm a bull, or I'm a pit bull and a chihuahua body is what I've been told. Anyway, fairly new on the job. It was when we were all, like, into soccer. I
Yeah.
hated soccer,
Yeah.
but everybody was playing. You were on the opposite team. Now picture, we need to stand up later. Now here comes Adrienne, she's on the opposite team. For some reason, she didn't even have the ball. But in my head, I was like, I'm taking Adrienne out.
Nobody takes her out.
I'm taking Adrienne out. I just
Most
gotta
men
stay
can't.
low. I just gotta stay low. And I freaking ran to her as hard as I could. And it was like, boom! I swear I felt like I exploded into 10 pieces. I fell back on the ground, when completely knocked out of me. She walks over me and her big smile. Well, Joella, what did you do that for? And I'm just laying there like,
Something to prove.
Yeah.
No, but there was men, I would play defense, so I would be going after the ball, and they'd be thinking, oh, it's a woman, I'm gonna plow right through her. Boom, they'd hit me and just go boom, right on the ground, and they were just like, what just happened? No, I love that, I love that.
oh gosh, Adrienne, you're so
You
funny.
guys good?
I mean, I think that's what this is all about. I mean, just all the stories and all the little stuff and who we look up to and who's been our mentors all along, and everybody, like we said, everybody brings a different aspect to the job, and you take a little bit from everybody, you know, and that's what makes this work.
It's your family, you know, and I think you're a different family because we're females, and like we used to run stairs and do things together off duty. It's like, so I don't know if it's just because we're women, so we bond more, but I mean, that's at different times in our career, that's been part of it, because it's always good to have that resource. Like, you're not gonna talk to the guys maybe the same way you're gonna talk to other women, because, you know, the way you look at things or things that happen,
and-
it's like,
yeah, you just
you wanna
can't
bounce it off
understand.
each other, or,
I can totally understand. I know what Joelle's thinking sometimes on things all kind of like, you did awesome. Ah. No, you did awesome, yeah.
Yeah, we all have certain insecurities that we share. I think we all have that we don't need to talk about because I think we all know what it is. But
Yeah.
it's nice being able to go, oh my God, this is coming up. Can you just,
Yes, yes.
this is what's about to happen. And then we're all freaking out over nothing. We end up doing whatever it needs to be done. And it's just like, oh.
It is interesting, Christine brought it up, and I would love to understand why. You do get that, so high school, they think you're great, college, they think you're great, and then the common public person doesn't think they're always question you or look at you or
Yeah,
not that excited about you, and I wonder why.
I think it's just education.
Uh-huh.
I just think it's just lack of knowledge, lack of, you know, education on what we do and what we bring to the department.
Yeah.
Because in general, I think the public look at us and they're like, you're a badass. And we kind of go, oh.
If I've ever been treated bad, it would be by women in the public, older women. Meaning, you know, let me talk to a man.
Yeah.
You know,
Yeah.
that, I get that from the
Yeah.
older women, maybe 50 and above. No, I'd say 60 and above, I'm 50. Not that one, yeah.
you date
I
yourself.
forgot, yeah, I still think I'm 25. And that doesn't need to go on the air, but I mean, that is kind of interesting, that old fashioned, like women shouldn't be doing this, you know, generally.
It's our job to educate the generations coming
You're
up.
right, to lift them up.
I feel like I'm delivering a baby when you say that.
Well done.
I would say don't be afraid to do either what you've dreamed of doing, or even if you think you can't do something, try it. Just don't be afraid to try something. Get out of your comfort zone.
Be fearless in your pursuit. Be fearless in what you have passion for.
Don't let anybody else hold you down. Be the bulldog that nobody else is willing to be. Be better.
Yeah, be good at something.
Well, they better come on quick.
I know, they better come quick.
Raging fast.
Like I said, I feel like there have been some women ahead of us that really worked hard to pave the way. I'm not going to just say women. I think there's been individuals ahead of us that have paved this a way for an amazing career for any individual to have. And we've come in and, you know, kept that path clear. And I think it's offered me personally a lifetime of wonderful experiences.
It's the best job in the world.
It is. It's the best. I can't imagine doing anything else. And I would love to give that to somebody else. And yes, I would definitely support and offer any help that I could to help that person succeed.
Yeah, think of all the rookies, all the training time, all the work we put in, and it's been women and men, but now's the time we just need more women on the job.
Yeah,
We
we're
just need
here
more.
you're our future.
Yeah,
You're our future.
yeah.
And there's not that many years left for us to mentor you, so let's go.
Age is
Yeah,
ticking.
yeah.
8 years.
Yeah,
5 years.
yeah.
Clock is ticking.
Yeah, time is like now.
Yeah,
Yeah.
time is now.
Andale.
Now.
Yeah, I would love to retire knowing that there are women on the job, and there are going to be women on the job in 20 years and 30 years, and would like to know that when I leave.
And the benefit of having other women on the department, it was for me, I know coming on, when I had questions or I may have doubted where I was in my abilities or lacked a little bit of self-confidence, you know, I would meet with Carrie and she would kind of encourage me and say, you know, I understand, I was there, you know, here, these are some words of wisdom that might help you moving forward. You know, she's like, I can't do it for you, but so she would really, you know, give me the time to think about where I want to go, what I want to do, and just provide that encouragement that, you know, only a woman could give. If I went to one of the other guys, I probably would not have gotten that same advice.
Well, we want to help mentor the next chief. Because I'm thinking, well, when we worked out at Gold's Gym, I met up with Carrie, Chief Donis, And this is before she got hired, and I met up with her just to talk about the process of coming on the job. And then there was another time we met together. So in a way, we could be helping the next chief or female chief of the job. You know, so you got to look at it that way, that you don't know who this person is coming on, but they could be an important, you know, role in the
never
department. Yeah.
Yeah. I feel like I owe it back. The girl, whose name was Alexis, that got me into the Forest Service, and if it weren't for her, I never would have thought of this job. If it weren't for her making an impression on me, I never would have thought of this. So I would like to pay that forward to somebody else, to give back what this job has brought me.
I think like I'm ready to work.
Like what?
When females come, them have to come ready for work.
They have to
Oh.
be ready for work.
It's not an easy job.
No, you
It's-
gotta work hard.
It's challenging. It's mentally and physically challenging. You know, you're in environments that aren't,
You can't be soft.
yeah.
You can't be soft. I mean, that goes for men and women. I think you can't be soft.
It's
You
not a
can't
job
be-
for everybody.
No, it's not.
No.
Make that very clear.
Like Christine said, Carrie would say, well, this is what I think, I'm talking me.
Oh, you Carrie.
Carrie Wiedemeyer.
You know, think Carrie Wiedemeyer.
Not the chief Carrie, yeah. Well, like Christine was saying earlier, you know, I would say, well, Christine, this is what, you know, I think this is what you need to do. I can't do it for you, you've got to do it. And when it comes to mentoring, I think we would all agree on this. If somebody comes to me and says, you know, I'm thinking about this, or I've actually gone to people and say, have you ever thought about being a firefighter? Once I tell them what they need to do, they're on their own. When I see somebody taking initiative, working out, pushing themselves hard, taking the classes, getting in there, I'm an open door. But I will close the door if they don't show initiative. Like Joella said, we all have kind of the same personality of I'm not going down, I'm not quitting, I'm gonna succeed at this. So we do have that drive in us. As soon as I see somebody not have that drive, I'm not gonna help you. So it's gonna take you digging deep to do this job, and it's worth it. Will I show you the outline of how to get there? Of course. And if you dig deep, I will help you along the way.
And like you said, you have to have the no quit. I'm not going
Yeah.
down 100%. When it's time to work, you give that 100%.
And accepting your weaknesses too. Because we can't do everything.
Definitely.
We can't, but that's across the board. It doesn't have anything to do with us being female.
Just
It has
smarter,
to
not
do
harder.
with Smarter, not harder, exactly.
Yeah. Ask for
But-
help if you need it, yeah.
Yeah. But you work like a freaking dog.
Well, and I think one of the biggest things for people coming on the job, especially women, is just the willingness to get along, live with each other, work hard together, just that openness. You know, you have to be able to not be complacent. Like, things are always changing. So just that openness to learn and to develop friendships, and, you know,
And having the ability to laugh at yourself. Oh my God.
yeah, because they'll laugh at you.
Oh my goodness.
They will laugh with you.
They will laugh at you.
So it's that respect that we've earned, both with the men and women we work with, because we work hard and because we
We do our job.
do our job.
Work ethic is huge here.
Huge.
Yeah.
If you show weakness in that area, you won't
It
do
stays
well.
with
No.
Yeah.
Yeah, for sure.
I can only compare it to being an athlete. You're up at the blocks, it's your race, you know, you got that like 100-yard dash, and you've prepared and you've trained and you're ready to go. And for us, we prepare, we train, we're very regimented, so when the tones go off, that's the race that we start, and we have to, there's no room for error. You know, we have to be on our game, and we have to, you know, succeed, and we can't have error. So that's, I think, why we're so regimented in what we do. So we have great downtime, but when when the tones go off, it's time to work. And
You know, it's interesting that you say that, because that is one of the biggest things I think, that this will be my first man versus female comment. Men still have a very hard time understanding the difference between us being in a mental state and a state where I need to get shit done and I'm not gonna stand around here and coddle you to get your job done. So whether it be the looks on our faces or the way we particularly handle
We're a little bit more,
things,
work oriented.
it comes off different because that is our differences. Our intentions are so driven forward to do well and to be aggressive about it. It gets misconstrued quite a bit. And if you watch the dynamics between if a female does it one way and a guy does the same thing, it appears different, but we're really doing the same thing, but we've got a little bit of an obstacle to overcome. So we're a little bit more, we may be a little bit more driven to get it done a little bit better. So I think that it comes off.
A little different.
It comes
I can see
off.
that.
Not
Because
as
you've always
we're
had to maybe
intending.
try a little bit harder or want to prove something because you know everyone's looking at you because you're a
And it is
female.
intimidating because when I see you on scene and you're making decisions and like there's a look in your eyes sometimes I'm like, I'm not even gonna talk to her right now because she's, and the same thing goes with Carrie. She's always laughing, but sometimes there's a state that she's in and it's like, don't even talk to her right now because she's focused. And same with her, and I know the same with me. I just have a natural look about myself. It's like, just don't talk to her right now, but the misconception is.
Yeah, I would say that.
But I get that. I mean, the last fire I was on with you, it's like people were coming at you left and right, and you were handling it. And there was just that one issue that I just wanted to talk to you
Oh,
about.
the
was
dog.
The dang dog.
We had to find the dog,
but
but she found it.
people were coming at her left and right, and
Yeah.
it's like Adrian, her serious face is on. It's like, okay, we still have smoke coming out here. We still got these tactics that still need to be dealt with, and it's like, there you go. There's Captain
I wasn't
Blankenship
giggling?
right there.
Like
No,
earlier?
because you don't see it. You don't see
Yeah.
it from you very often.
Yeah.
But when you're in that scenario,
When I'm in
and
the
same
zone,
goes with you.
yeah.
When you're in the zone, you're in the zone, and it's amazing to see in perspective. In hindsight, it's amazing.
Well, because we
to
haven't,
see.
because we've all been on different ships, we haven't had a lot of time together. And like you were on the same ship for a while, and then I think that day I was working for someone. But yeah, you
I was
know,
way out of my district. That fire was way out of my district.
it was at 20s area.
Oh.
It was like my second shift at Sixes. I'm like,
Oh.
I'll get the dog, Adrian.
I had
She
to get
probably
some more
still has it.
resources. Yeah. He was hiding. They tried for like forever to try to find my dog.
They were already salvaging the room. Everything was on top of the bed. You know where the dog was?
Was it
In
under
the
the
bed.
Under the
No, in the bed.
blankets.
Oh,
In the
oh,
blanket. In the
So
bed.
everyone was looking, but you know,
Was it alive?
Yeah.
Yeah.
Oh, yeah. It was just. It was,
it was more
sitting
attic
there.
fire than anything. Yeah.
Okay.
But
Yeah.
I'm telling you, I think we've all had
I felt
this
the same way, though.
obsession
I was
about
like, get the
animals
dog.
all of a sudden. It's like,
Christine's like, no.
not so much.
We're like obsessed.
We're
with
I have
animals.
two
obsessed.
boys.
She started it.
Yeah.
Yeah, Carrie
She
started
was-
it.
yeah.
She
She
does the
started
bulldog, she drives animals places to help them, escort them. I mean,
Transport.
when I retire, I'm
She
gonna
did
have
a blood
sanctuary.
transfusion and gave it to a dog. No, I'm kidding. I'm kidding.
My dog did a blood transfusion. My dog,
See?
yes, he donates blood.
She actually does hug trees. When she was a rookie, she would.
I still do, and I
She-
still believe in
She
it.
still
You should
pulls
try
over
it
and she
sometimes.
hugs trees. Yeah, she
I
really
still-
does.
She's
I'm
sensitive.
from Oregon.
She's from Oregon.
Washington State, yeah.
I'm from Oakland. I just shoot them.
Exactly. We
Or I
don't have
spray
trees
paint
in
'em.
Oakland.
It's true. So the tattoo is something that's been a work in progress for a really long time. Like I had a little one from before, but it didn't really represent what I wanted. Without looking at it in detail, it includes a lot of things, and I can't let some of the secrets out, but there are a lot of things in this tattoo that have followed me through my career. Some things that are unfortunate, like 343, that will forever be just one of those things.
343 is the number of firefighters that died in 9/11.
Yeah. It's got,
Can we see it?
Basically, she's a hot firefighter.
it's
that
basically
kicks
me,
ass.
but it's a lot cuter. Do you want me to take off my shirt so you can see it, or? 'Cause, like,
Get it after.
okay.
Okay.
No, I love
It's just
it.
representative of my time in the department and some of the things that I've had to experience and go through. And, you know, again, you can be a beautiful woman and still be strong and powerful and be pretty legit at your job. That's kind of what it's about.
It's pretty cool.
I like it.
She had to wait 1.5 years for it.
Yeah, I got selected out of 2,000 people to go. So.
Who's the artist?
She had to throw the firefighter card.
Yeah.
I did.
Okay.
I used it to my. I did. I used
gotta
the
do what
female
you gotta do.
firefighter.
Yeah.
We've all done it.
I did. And she said, she's like, oh, I saw you, Captain. She called me Captain. She's like, I saw you were a female firefighter. I was so excited. You're my idol. You're my. She did. She said, you're my hero. Yeah. So that's what got.
I think
got me in the
my
door.
favorite memory, now we're going over memories because it takes me a long time to remember stuff.
You're
is-
older.
You
I
trigger
know,
something.
I know. So when we had that fire off of California and Martin Luther King in the apartment, a single-story apartment where you had to rescue the kids out of the unit.
Oh,
That's my favorite memory.
for the footage on TV, and you got the baby in
But
your.
I investigated that. I came in after the fact and
Well,
investigated.
you know what's hard for me is I didn't do that. I did not rescue that kid. That kid was handed to me.
But
That
you're
kid
part of
was-
it. They gotta hand it to somebody.
No, but I mean, the amount
It's
of
part of
credit
it,
that I
though.
got for something that, you know, I didn't, I grabbed the baby from another firefighter and I took it to
Yeah,
the
but we
ambulance.
we really never worked together, and only the investigative calls that I'm on. So that is the one that I remember because I had come in and had to do the investigation aspect of it. But that was a really powerful call, regardless of however aspect that you
Yeah, it
had
takes
in
the whole
but I
team,
know
I
you-
think. Yeah.
You had a element
Yeah.
of helping bring the kids out. So that was
You're a big part of it.
really cool.
I don't think the job would be the same. Like all the fun times, the sad times, like everything for the last 25 years from who was first on the job and everybody that's come after. I mean, it's part of our history. Like I can't even imagine, you know?
There was hard times, I think, for me coming on where I questioned, is this for me? And had Carrie not been there to help me get through that time, I may have chosen a different path.
Ditto. And yeah, but and ditto with the same thing. And I could go, 6 months and not talk to Adrian or Joelle or Christine. And I think I called Joelle not too long ago and just said, blah, 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 blah. And it was something that was really personal, but it's something to do with our job. And that I know she understands. And she just gave me a 2-sentence reply. I was like, okay.
Yeah.
And I think that just that foundation and security of having each other if we need it is awesome.
Well, and
or
we're
having
not-
somebody else that understands you.
Yeah.
Yeah, and we're not always gonna call the guys, like it might be girl talk or might be relationship stuff, whatever. I think sometimes you just need another female. So I can't imagine if I didn't have other females on the job, you would feel like that one, not an outcast, but that one that's sore thumb or the one that sticks out. I don't know.
I can't imagine what the Pat went through,
Yeah,
who didn't have anybody.
especially with the old guys back then.
Yeah. Oh. Yeah. I wish she could talk to you. I wish she was here.
And we have such a different dynamic. It's not like I can go home and talk to one of my girlfriends about what I do. So it's
Totally
nice
true.
to
Yeah,
be
'cause
able
they
to
don't
have,
understand, yeah.
Totally true.
you know, these women here, as well as Tammy, being out there that understand what we do. And, you know, we go through a lot of stressful things. We see a lot of things that nobody else would understand but us.
Or
Very
even
true.
just our friends in general. I mean, our sense of humor is so twisted. Sometimes I hear us talking and it's just like,
Yeah.
Yeah.
but I find myself talking like that when I go home or with my friends and they just look
They
at you
look
like,
at you like
what
you're
is
cold or
wrong with you?
something.
And I'm
Yeah.
like, this is all I know. I mean, I don't.
Yeah,
Definitely.
but I would say firefighters in general in the engine after call is probably the worst talk ever.
It's decompressing.
Yeah,
very
it's
important.
humor, but we're gonna use it all the time. It's just,
But we need that. That's
Yeah.
our,
Definitely.
that's our downtime. That's our time that we get through the stress that we have to deal with.
Definitely.
Very unladylike talk.
Yes.
badass.
Badass.
Because you know what it takes to get there. Like, nobody could, it doesn't matter what they even look like. Just knowing what they've been through, their whole journey, they're badass. Just like I'd say that to a guy. You know what they've done to get there, but the woman thing, they've tried that much harder or had to push themselves that much harder. It's just different. It's a different mindset.
And it's funny, you know, when we are on scene and we're doing our job and we're in a mask and we're BA'd up, you can't tell if it's a woman or a man. which is really cool. You're in there to do a job, so everybody around you, you can't see somebody say, oh, that's Christine, or that's Corey Kalanick, or that's, you don't know who it is. So we're all in there to do a job. So gender has no bearing, or ethnicity has no bearing when you're in there doing the job.
Have you ever noticed when you come out of a fire and you're coming out and you're pulling everything off, and then the
feel
crowd,
like super,
they're
oh my
out
God,
there, and they're
it's
like,
so like,
it's a woman. It's like, yeah, no, I mean, I've had that a lot. It's like, and
they're
you're all
so
filthy.
dirty. It's like,
You do kind of, I would say that's the
girl.
time you kind of feel
That's
like a
a-
superhero.
yes.
Yeah.
I would say that.
coming out of the
all the
attic
time.
or right out of a fire.
Yeah, and
that
you're
is
just
like, you're just
covered,
coming
you've
out.
been busting
you're
your
just
blood,
like-
and it's just like,
And then you take your
push the
gear off.
crowd, I mean,
Carcinogen entering your lungs. You're
A
just
little
like,
bit of vomit right here, because
Yeah, you got a little bit.
yeah. I would say that's probably like one of the, I don't know, biggest
that
things
is the
that always
coolest.
like gets me every time. I don't
There's
know. why.
always an awe or somebody in the
Yeah.
crowd when you take your stuff off.
Yeah.
yeah.
Oh, she's a woman.
Then you can hear him talking to
That's
this.
a girl.
Hey, did you see her? And you try to ignore it, but you just like,
I didn't know there was women on the job.
Can we take your picture? Can we take your picture?
Yeah.
you're just like, and you're exhausted. You're like, no, please, God.
Yeah, look
But
at how you look,
snot,
you're just
like
all-
coming out of your nose.
It's those little moments though when you get that, you're like, okay, this is awesome.
Yeah.
Yeah, it just kind of, something in the back of your head, all the little things on the job, like everything.
cool.
It's just one little part.
This is cool.
Yeah.
Yeah.
Or when a dad walks up to you. It's only happened a couple of times, but when a dad walks up to you with,
And asks you if you're single?
double fit, that never happens to me, but double fisted with his little girls. Like,
Yeah.
they come
They
up
wanna
to
meet
you
you.
and they want to meet
Yeah.
you. It's a dad doing it. It's
Yeah.
not a mom, it's a dad. It's
'Cause
like,
he wants
because he
them
has his
to-
little girls now and he understands, like he wants his children to be successful and to see them just kind of do this like,
And the little girls to do whatever they want to do.